Honorable Adams to Minister Mchunu on the 1st of November at page 283, because he lists them. And he states there that I've opened cases in Western Cape on a number of senior police as per the following case dockets. Then he gives the numbers, he quotes 3. Those are the Cape Town case dockets. Then he says he went to Gauteng, and then he provides 3 dockets. Those we understand are the Orlando dockets. And he doesn't seem to reference the Langlaagte case. So yes, I point this out to confirm that on the documents that we have, when he reported interference with these dockets, Langlaagte was not a part of them, so he would have had to advise Mr. Nkabinde otherwise than in this trail of emails. Thank you.
Thank you.
While we're dealing with the chronology, I don't want to come back to it later because it's at this point that I think this question is relevant. Colonel, I've looked at the description of the cases in the Cape Town dockets and the Orlando. Assist me if I'm wrong. None of the complaints in the Orlando dockets and in the Cape Town dockets had anything to do with the Brigadier Mokwele case.
So can I respond?
Yes.
When you look at the way you will get, like, in one docket, there's 2 or 3 allegations in one. It's mixed up, and then it's like nepotism, and it's in another docket. It's all mixed up. But I'll have to look at the actual docket itself on what you're saying.
Because remember, they were opened in October 2024.
Yes, sir.
And there's one about nepotism, but it relates to the other kernels in crime intelligence. That's what the story is. And there's complaints about defeating the ends of justice. That's what the other complaint is about in the dockets. But there was no case opened, either in Cape Town or in Soweto, Orlando, of corruption and fraud relating to the appointment of Brigadier Mokwele.
I'll have to just check on that, so because I think when we're looking at Orlando and Valeria, because I'm sitting with Valeria.
It doesn't matter whether it's Orlando or Valeria. The point is it was in October 2024 we've established that. And I'm saying in October 2024, no case was opened saying the appointment of Brigadier Mokwele was fraudulent or there was corruption in that.
Yes, specifically, if I can recall, sir, subject to correction, in the docket or the affidavit that was there was no specific name to a brigadier or anything, just nepotism and family members and stuff like that that was mentioned.
And because she had not been appointed at that point, so the cases that were opened in Cape Town and Orlando related to this complaint that you see in the Section 27 affidavit that all the colonels, he says it is concerning to note that all the colonels employed in crime intelligence, none of them are suitable for the post to which they are appointed.
Commissioner, where are you reading that from?
I'm reading the Section 27 affidavit, paragraph 4. Colonel, maybe we can do this in in the interest of time. If I am wrong that the Cape Town cases and the Orlando cases did not concern the complaint about the appointment of Brigadier Mokwele, you can, after lunch, I assume you would have looked at this after lunch, you can say to me,
yes,
Commissioner, you are wrong. That was one of the complaints in the dockets, or you are correct. None of the dockets had to do with that case.
Yes. I will respond to you then, sir.
All right.
Have you located CJC 377, starting at page 681?
That's correct.
We dealt with it yesterday. It's got the 2 the cover page, 2 pages. The actual statement starts at page 683. You recall in dealing with this affidavit, it's a 2-page document. We concluded that the issues are addressed specifically in paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. That's all it tells you. The other paragraphs are either introductory or they give a conclusion by the deponent. So our key paragraphs are paragraphs 2 and 3. And that's all it tells us.
Yes.
And it is on that basis I say, if that's the totality of it, it is rather sparse on facts. It's very thin on facts, this document. Would you agree?
The paragraph 2 and 3.
Yes.
When I read it, and as I explained previously, it's an allegation, a serious allegation. And what I see here is an allegation.
Yes.
There's no fact in it.
Yes.
It still has to be investigated
Yes.
further. Thank you.
So I'm saying, yes, there are allegations, but those allegations are not based on any stated fact here. There are no facts to support the allegations expressed here.
It's an allegation at that time on the document.
Okay, does it have facts, this document? Sorry, Chair.
Let me take you through this one by one. It says that higher-ranking police officials were involved in, open quote, manipulating promotions. Even though that purports to be a fact, it is a concluding fact, as it were.
Yes, sir.
You would have to state facts, concrete facts that make you come to the conclusion that this was manipulation.
Yes.
Otherwise, standing on its own, it's bare and basically says nothing. Do you understand that, and do you agree?
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, that's the point that Ms. Sillo is making. And then they say manipulated and security, also manipulating security vetting processes to unduly benefit a civilian. On the same kind of logic, that applies here as well. Because you would have to establish what the facts behind saying that you are manipulating security vetting processes to unduly benefit a civilian. Otherwise, you know nothing.
Yes.
So you agree, it's bare, it's thin on facts. Do you agree with that?
I agree with it as it is there.
That's the point. That's the point Mr. Lo is making.
Yes, Commissioner. The who and the what is still missing from there. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you, Chair. Then we found each other. So this was, you get this A1 statement on the 6th of January or soon thereafter, 2025.
2025.
Yes, or soon thereafter. And at that time, you are armed with the dockets. I would like to believe you said you received them sometime in December.
That's correct.
Are you able to say what conclusions you drew based on the contents of the documents and this affidavit to inform whether or not a case had been made out for an investigation?
When I looked at the affidavit and I looked at the docket, and as I said, the docket had sparse information on it, and I'll just must say how I looked at it and how I investigated it. So when you look at the docket, it's got sparse information, and it's not going into who by name, how. There's the who's and the hows that are missing from it. And when you look at the affidavit, as Chair mentioned, there's the who and how that's not here. So when I look at that now, I take that as a preliminary that this is an allegation that's been made. I need to now go and investigate and confirm what this is, right? Who this particular post or appointments or whatever, further investigation to get more information. So therefore, went about to get the documents, but I do not want to go further. I'm just saying to you that the information on the dockets itself, the initial documents, was the complainant would have to be interviewed again. What are you talking about? So from that, there's a second affidavit that is now taken on this specific regarding this appointment process. But still, there are things that are missing from here that needs verification and investigation. So not on this now, you can go now and take it and just start arresting. You've got to look at it, investigate it. Is there something there? And you work from there.
Okay.
Progress from there moving forward. Thank you.
So we have the benefit of the A1 and we know what the A1 states. What I don't have is the benefit of the dockets. So, what's the title? Colonel Phillips's affidavit. I think that it's page 292 of MK15. You still have MK15 with you? Annexure MK15. Yes, we are looking for that document on the screen.
Yes, 292.
Yes. Do you have it before you? Because I think it provides quite a useful summary of the various dockets.
Yeah, it's a various
Yes.
summary of the dockets.
Now,
Correct.
Staying with that, let's look at the next one. You could, and the purpose of this exercise, in fact, let's look at, now we are now left with 2 blocks, right? 3. Because of time constraints, may I ask you either to cast your eye on that and tell the commissioners in which block, in which docket does our matter, by our matter I mean quote unquote the Mukwele matter, where does it fit in there?
Chair, Commissioners, when I look at what is here in the dockets, and I'm looking at the second block, the only thing that comes close to an appointment or something to do, when you look at nepotism is something like an appointment. This is the only scant thing that comes close to that. And in the rest, with regards to family members and whatever, yeah, those are the 2 things that's there.
So as things stood then, you agree that the dockets, as you received them, had nothing to do with Brigadier Mukwele directly?
There was no name. There was just allegation that a person, a civilian from BMW, was appointed.
Where was a civilian from BMW now? I'm saying in the docket. We know that a civilian from BMW is in the A1. That is yet to be obtained in January 2025. I'm saying the dockets don't seem to have anything to do with Brigadier Mukwele.
The A1?
The dockets.
The docket?
All of them.
The 403, 404, and 405.
Yes.
You agree they've got nothing to do with Brigadier Mukwele?
On the face of the docket. There's nothing about that I picked up on BMW.
So the only time we get to meet Brigadier Mukwele and the appointment of Brigadier Mukwele is in the A1 statement of January 2025.
Yes.
And we know it's those 2 paragraphs. I want to suggest, I would like to share with you what I would consider to be armed with an affidavit such as Mr. Adams provided in January 2025. Scant as it is, accepting that it does not, the dockets don't assist us as regards Brigadier Mukwele. For an investigating officer such as yourself, who is looking into the manipulation of promotional and security vetting processes to unduly benefit a civilian person, what would be the logical starting point of your investigation? You've got nothing except that 2-page A1 statement. What is the first step you take?
What that information that is given there?
In the A1 statement, yes.
My first point that I would look at the appointment process for civilian within crime intelligence, and the fact that now in this affidavit is mentioned BMW.
Sorry, please say that again. Sorry,
Are we talking about the A1 of January?
we are armed with the A1 of January,
Okay.
scant as it is. I want to find out, as an investigator, what is your logical starting point regarding being heard to the fact that the complaint is about manipulation of promotional and security vetting processes to unduly benefit a civilian person. And we learn from paragraph 3 that such person is Mrs. Mukwele. That's all we know. Where do we start?
Okay. So we're looking on the A1 statement. That's paragraph 2. Paragraph 2 and 3, which we have spoken about early on. So here's an allegation of a high-ranking officer involved in manipulating promotional and security vetting to the undue benefit of a civilian person who worked for BMW South Africa before being appointed as a brigadier and CI. She had no policing experience, no management experience, and was appointed as the head of technical support services. So here's the starting point. Number 1, the head of technical support services. That's the post within crime intelligence. So that's my first lead with regards to this. Second, she's from BMW, brigadier post, head of technical support. I will start by subpoenaing the documents from crime intelligence on the TSSU post, and which I indeed did. And when I looked at it, then I discovered that there was a person from BMW, a civilian, that was appointed as according to paragraph 2 of this affidavit.
Yes. Well, according to the docket you provided, or before I say that, maybe you start where you started because you know what the processes are. I would have thought, but at some point you have to collect all the prescripts and policies of SAPS that relate to promotions and security vetting processes, unless you know them off by heart. That's what you would do, I presume?
Commissioner, Chair, Commissioner, Council, that's what I did.
Okay.
We requested all documentation on all the allegations from the National Commissioner.
Yes. Now, and we have to know what the prescripts provide and require for us to determine when we get into the facts of the case, whether there has been a manipulation. So we must have put up something to say, this is how the process should run. And when we look into the facts of this case, this is how the process ran, and therefore we suggest manipulation or departure from the prescribed process. So I'm saying to you that you need the base documents that tell you how the process should run.
That's correct.
So that's where you start, before you see what went wrong.
Yes.
According to your docket, though, the very first summons, Section 28 summons you issued on the 31st of January 2025 is to BMW, and you will find that at file 3 at page 802. File 3, page 802.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. There are a few Section 28 summonses in the docket, but when I look at all of them, this is the first, based on the date stamp. This is the first you issued, the 31st of January, 2025. You have a few following on the 6th of February to the National Commissioner, on the 3rd of April, and so forth. But this is your starting summons, and it's to BMW. If you go to page 804, that's where you list the documents you require. From Mrs. Mukwele.
Yes.
Sorry. You want her application for employment at BMW, positions held, occupancy periods, and salary paid, job descriptions and performance agreements, all qualifications, training and development, declarations of interest, letter of resignation, notice period, and the like. What informed you to make this particular selection of documents from BMW? All you have is an A1 statement thus far.
Your question is, what made us request this?
These specific documents on the 31st of January 2025.
The applicant, or rather Mrs. Mukwele, worked for BMW.
Yes.
By the time we prepared the summons, we knew who she was. Through investigation, we had identified her, and we knew who she was.
Well, I apologize for interrupting you. We know her name from the A1 statement by Mr. Adams.
Yes.
We know she worked at BMW. I can't find anything else that tells me about Mrs. Mukwele in the docket and her employment at BMW until I come across this section 28. And I assume that if that is the case, you were in exactly the same position on the 31st of January 2025. All you knew was her name and BMW. And remember, the target is to determine whether or not there was manipulation of processes within SAPS.
Yes.
And I'm trying to understand, why do you start at BMW with these specific documents? Request for these specific documents. What informed this?
Thank you, Chair. First of all, on the A1 statement, paragraph 2, there's no name of Mrs. Mukwele on there, just BMW.
It's at paragraph
So-
3.
Paragraph 3 of the A1.
3 of A1.
Of whose
CI
A1?
management
Of Mr. Adams'
favored
A1.
Mrs. Mukwele over them. Paragraph 3 of A1. CI management favored Mrs.
Yes,
Mukwele over
my
the
apologies.
IDAC.
Yes. But we already knew, beside the name Mrs. Mukwele, we already had details at that time through the investigation processes. That we had.
If I may interject, because this is very important for my understanding of what happened. What in the docket tells me that your investigations revealed the details?
What in the-
In your docket, your first document is the A1, dated 6
Yes.
January 25.
Yes.
In terms of the date stamp, your next document is 31 January 2025, which is this document. What did I miss in your investigation file?
In my docket itself, there's
Yes.
no witness statement there. A witness statement comes, I think it's further down in the docket amongst
Yes.
one of the statements where the full details is.
Yes.
But up until reading of that, we had the name and surname of the person, and therefore I requested the documents.
Where did you get that name and surname from? And what in the file tells me you have the name and the surname?
Through the investigation process.
No,
looking-
I hear how
Yes.
you obtained them. I want to know what in the docket tells me when you acquired her name and her ID number. Because it's not in the docket, unless it's one of those perhaps that, because we started off with an incomplete docket, something was missing.
An investigation goes where you conduct inquiries, where you get the name, whatever, and the surname. On the police system, personnel system, you get details there, and you carry on with your investigation from there. The next part of it is to get.
Sorry, before you get onto the system, you know what you're looking for. You already
Yes, we
have
look-
some information, and the question is, how did you, or from whom did you get the name? Now you say you have the parcel number, if that's what you used, your ID number, where did you get that from? How and where do we see that in the docket?
Thank you, Commissioner. What I'm saying is through inquiries, speaking to people, and during the course of the investigation, you speak to people and the talk is, who is this lady? Through that investigation and asking questions and stuff like that, I got these details. But it was not full details.
Did you speak to human resources? Did you speak to crime intelligence that you end up knowing the person that is referred to in the complaint, in that A1 statement, is Dineo Mukwele? Somebody told you that,
Yes.
right? We know that. Somebody told you that. The question is, who told you that? And where in the docket do we see, yes, this is how he got the information. He got it from General Masemola on this day because he had an interview with General Masemola. You're being asked that kind of question.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioner. I would have spoken to people from crime intelligence from the environment who are working in that environment. It could have been Colonel Holstars and one of our witnesses whose statement is in the docket. I could have got that information from her at the beginning stage of this investigation that's conducted. But where do I have to put a statement and an affidavit that I identified this particular person from so-and-so? That's not in my docket. I didn't put it there. I didn't feel that it's necessary because I'm still busy with my investigation. So through those bits and pieces that you pick up together, I got that information and I utilized that information.
My question then, how did you know who to target at crime intelligence to determine her name? There it is, Ms. Dineo Mukwele, and to determine her ID number. Who did you speak to and on what basis did you identify who to speak to? Because all you have is your A1, remember?
Yeah.
All we have is our two-pager with A1.
Yes.
Who did you speak to obtain those details, and how, on what basis did you identify who to talk to in crime intelligence?
It's people that I know that I worked with previously. There's quite a few of them that I spoke to, gathered bits and pieces of information, so from the environment itself. But the person that came up with Mukwele in the details is who I called and interviewed and eventually took a statement from, which is in the docket, was Colonel Holstausen.
Which is much later than this date.
Later
My
than
logic
this date.
tells me then, all you had is Mrs. Mukwele, all you had is appointment in a certain function. Why didn't you ask the National Commissioner to please establish on your behalf what is happening here? Who is this person? And give you files pertaining to that appointment. Why didn't you do so? Rather than, because what you're coming across as suggesting that you walked the passages of CI and relied on previous relationships you had to ask people to go snooping around to find, is there a lady from BMW employed here? Why didn't you just direct that question to National Commissioner?
No.
You are investigating, sorry, apologies. You are investigating, you are authorized to investigate, you have your appointment letter from IDAC. Why don't you do things in a straightforward manner? Particularly in light of the fact that you are yet to fire 3 more summonses to the National Commissioner, but only in February. Why wasn't that your starting point?
Chair, Commissioners, Council, when you do an investigation, it's fine, we can speak from a platform like this. You go, you speak to people, you investigate, and you take leads from there and you go on. And then you get names, you follow through with the names. With the National Commissioner and BMW, it's when we got when we got the actual documents from the National Commissioner, and that you will see we got it in February. This thing here from BMW, all we had was the name. We didn't know exactly initially which BMW it was, because initially we went to, I think it was Acacia but there's two BMWs, but eventually we found that, and once we got those details, we requested this from them. That's in January. Remember, I'm trying to get the message across to you when you conduct an investigation. It's not just, you investigate. You speak to lots of people. You're busy. You're trying to confirm allegations. And where you can find and you can confirm allegations, you reduce that into an affidavit. When you are confirmed and you are sure that is that. Because if we go around taking affidavits from every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and most of those will just be, you can't use them. So what I'm trying to explain here, when you investigate, you will go, you will look at places, you will talk to people, you'll pick up a bit of information there, and then you'll continue until you reach a point where you have some information on a platform that you can utilize to get more proper details, starting with this 28 from BMW. The next one was to get now broader information, and that is when we subpoenaed the National Commissioner for relevant documents that was applicable for this information. And in that, we got all the extra additional information that we have. Thank you.
Okay. I understand that you investigate. I'm not an investigator, so my knowledge of that area, I confess, is fairly limited. But I'm talking to a lead investigator of IDAC whose conduct is informed by a letter of authority, who's got authority to investigate such matters, who doesn't direct his first salvo of questions to the person responsible for the institution that is affected by the investigation, but who does it otherwise by talking to people. So you come across to me, and I don't know if I understood you well, that in the course of investigations, you can ignore completely the head of the institution, national commissioner, and be snooping around, this investigation to establish an ID number. Who did you ask? You had to have dug within CI to establish Mrs. Mukwele's ID number, which you reflected there when you made a request to BMW. You could have gotten it in exactly less than an hour from the national commissioner. It cannot be that the answer is that when you investigate, you talk to people, unnamed people, you get sources, and this is nothing complex. It's just establishing a starting point, surely. Colonel.
Can I answer you?
Please do.
Thank you. We can say a whole lot of things here of how we should conduct our investigation and on what authority and etc. I use my powers of authority when I require them to subpoena people or subpoena documents. But within investigation, let me use the word that you use, Counsel. Snooping is part of investigation. You snoop to get information. And that's where your starting points of all investigations, and all investigating officers will know that. And when it comes to a point where you snoop not enough and you got some facts that you can put down now in a subpoena and a summons and get that information, you go ahead. So I'm not going to say that I didn't use my powers or I used my powers for this and didn't use it for that. I'm basically saying that the investigation is dynamic. Thank you.
Okay, the investigation is dynamic. Like I said, I know nothing about investigations, but I trust through your engagement, I'll catch up with something. Now, because of time, I would like you to listen carefully to what I'm going to propose to you and correct me if I'm wrong or I'm missing something. You start with your summonses with this particular one. From there, on the 6th of February, you issue a summons to the National Commissioner. But just like this one, the summons has to be specific. In Annexure B, it has to list the specific documents that you require. The next one I have, we don't have to go there, and I need your attention on this, lest I have missed anyone, is the 6th of February 25 to the National Commissioner. But here you request security clearances and vetting files for 7 people. This is the 6 people plus, this is the 6 SEPS members plus Mukwele. That's what you request. You recall that issuing such a summons, right?
Yes.
Oh, then I didn't want to quit. File 3 File 3, page 936.
Page?
File 3, page 936.
I have it, Constable.
Okay, if you cast your eye there, you'll see, I think you could go to the end of it,
Annex
or
B.
even the front of it. I think it has got, you'd have a stamp, a date stamp. I have it as 6th of February 2025. Is that what you have?
2025, 6th of February 2025.
Yes, yes. And that particular summons, if we go to Annexure B, we'll see what it requests. It's security clearances, security clearances of the persons listed therein,
And vetting files.
and vetting files. I say in this summons, you were requesting from the National Commissioner to provide you with security clearances and vetting files for the people listed in Annexure B.
Correct.
Okay. This is January, including Mrs. Mukwele.
Including Mrs.
Yes.
Mkwele's.
Is this still relating to the Mukwele file?
Yes, but this particular subpoena, that's what I would like to explain. We do one subpoena for all the files of people that we're investigating. So when you see Mrs. Mukwele here, so on this document here with the 28, so this section 28 with all her documents is in this docket. So when you go down and you look at the next person, General Ushaba, in his matter, you'll find a copy of the very same 28 with his documents in his docket. So it's one summons that utilize for all.
For all 7?
Yes.
Yes. So we know now that we are investigating the appointment of Mrs. Mukwele, and we know from A1 that there's an issue about possible manipulation of vetting processes. Why did you need the vetting, clearance certificates and vetting files for all these people? Was there clearance or vetting processes that were subjected to ever in question?
Can I get your question, Councillor?
Okay. The target of your investigation here, as regards vetting and security clearance,
Yes.
is the person from BMW who was employed
Yes,
through some manipulation of process.
yes.
Okay. The other people, all the subs members there, are not in your crosshairs for that purpose, to determine whether they were employed through manipulated vetting processes. They are not. They're not the subject of your investigation.
They're not
are they?
the subject in this docket. They are subjects in other dockets. Remember, as I said, that we utilized one section 28 to request all the vetting files of implicated people.
Oh, I see.
All the files of implicated. You will find this here together with personal files, all the implicated people. So whichever investigated, it's all the implicated people.
Okay, so the fact that the first 6 happen to be the panel members that recommended Mrs. Mukwele is neither here nor there. Their own vetting and clearance is subject to query based on other investigations. Is that where we land? Starting with General Kumalo.
Yes, when you look at this here, the focus is on Mukwele. With regards to the other files, as I said, it's other investigations that were being conducted. So therefore, all the documents of the implicated people. So So
Which section 27 affidavit triggered an investigation into the clearance and vetting of General Kumalo? By way of example.
I have explained it.
No, please do help me.
Okay.
I'm new in this field.
We're conducting an investigation, all right? These are the implicated people in our investigation,
Implicated in?
in our investigations.
Yeah, but what are they implicated in? How are they implicated?
They are implicated in other matters linking to other crimes, investigations, as I said. There are various, when you look at, for example, General Lushaba.
No, I would like to stick, let's stick with the first. Please don't pick and choose. Take me through, if you make me understand with reference to General Kumalo, I think I can extend that understanding to the rest of them. Let's stick with General Kumalo.
You mean, just on General Kumalo with regard to his vetting file? Yes. There's an investigation with regards to General Kumalo and his vetting file,
okay.
Which is part of another investigation that is there.
Okay.
So that is why I said, in this matter here, where all these files are requested, it's all people that's implicated in various investigations, that we looked at their personal files, their vetting files, and not to say that we want the personal file for this or the vetting file for this. We want all the files to look at holistically what is there.
And presumably all those investigations are backed up by the requisite Section 27 affidavits.
It's backed up by the investigation that we conducted.
Section 27 affidavit. We agreed yesterday that's a trigger.
Remember again, Councillor, as I said in the beginning, I did not see
We know.
Section 27.
So,
Yes,
sorry,
but now,
Colonel.
You see, Colonel, I engaged you quite extensively yesterday on that trigger. You remember that, quite extensively. Now, the very fact that you must now, in response to these questions about the trigger, say you never saw the referral, that creates a serious problem. It actually buttresses the point that you must see that referral. Otherwise, you are investigating in the dark. Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? Do you understand what I mean?
I understand.
You are investigating in the dark because for you to even begin, you begin because there's that trigger as provided for in Section 27. Otherwise, what are you going on about? Sorry to interrupt. You want to comment?
Thank you, Chair. That's
helpful.
Please, yes.
I feel that
we know, and please don't repeat that you did not see the Section 27 referral. We heard you umpteen times on that. Please comment.
Commissioner, can I respond?
Yes.
Commissioner, I know and I understand that I've referred to it various times, and it comes up every now and again. And I'm standing before yourself, Chair, and the Commission, and I'm trying to answer in the best way I can.
Yes.
But it always comes back to the 27.
And it must.
And it must.
It does. Sorry. It does so because it must. That's the problem for you.
Yes.
Please continue with your comment.
And as Commissioner, Chair, has pointed out, the importance of the Section 27, how important it is for the investigating officer going forward, something which we never bothered about because we have our chief criminal investigator, we have a briefing. If one has to come and see how we operate in terms of the briefing, it's different. One expects that, okay, this is how it is, but it's not like how it is. But you have pointed out something important. And what is important about this current matter is that there are suspicions, allegations surrounding this investigations. So moving forward to avoid this type of stuff, and it is a fact, Commissioner, that around IDAC, there has been many allegations. And when you look at it, you look at the timings, you look at a whole lot of things, and it points to there must be something wrong. And then I sit here before you, and the one time I'm a witness, and another time I'm an accused. So bear me when I respond with that, because for me, I conducted an investigation that flew from a briefing from my chief investigator. I did a bona fide investigation. Whether some of these things fell out of the mandate of IDAC during the course or in the course, I cannot say, I did something wrong. I proceeded with. And that is the honest thing that I'm saying.
I'll tell you that you actually did do something wrong. You get the A1 after the briefing by your chief, which I'm sure did not tell you much, you then get the A1, which you've agreed when Ms. Sildo was questioning you, that it is sparse. Here's what was wrong.
Yes.
You have this A1, it's sparse. It should have triggered in your mind, that should have triggered in your mind what was referred to us in the first place, and you should have gone to see what was referred. If all you see is this A1 that does not have anything, basically, you should have, but on what basis could this ever have been referred to us? And you ought to have gone back to the referral. Please, Chief, give me that referral. Don't you agree?
That's noted, Chief.
Sorry?
Sorry. Apologies, Chair. But I think that's a word we say.
I happen to have an aversion to that chief thing. I personally do. So what's your comment?
No, Chair, it is noted. And the concern
No. I'm asking you whether you agree. Do you agree?
Sir, at this time, and remember,
I'm asking you this one time.
Yeah.
I'm asking you so for you to say this time as if you have another time to disagree. Do you agree?
Chair, at this time and this moment, this is the
You
best that I
agree.
can do an answer. When you say that had
You've
to-
heard me, please don't repeat. You've heard me, please don't repeat. Do you agree?
No, sir, then I cannot say I agree, sir.
Why do you not
Because
agree?
at that moment-
Why do you not agree?
Sir, because at that moment in time, when I received the briefing, compared to the time now that you are asking me and telling me these questions about the importance of the section 27, yes. But at that time, I did not worry about it or think about it, or even 27 came to my mind at that moment in time. There was no 27 in my mind except the briefing.
So you have this A1 that's empty, or the content of which is sparse, and you just close your mind to the question whether there was a basis for referring in the first place. You just close your mind to that.
No, sir. I took what
You did not close your mind?
Chair?
I'm saying, did you then close your mind to the fact that I have an A1
Yes.
that's very sparse in content? Did you close your mind to that?
No, I didn't close my mind to it, Chair.
Why did you not?
Chair,
Why
I
did you
didn't-
not? Why did you not check then?
I went on what little was there, and I conducted further investigations to expand on it, Chair. As it was there, it needed me to look further into it.
Not if you know what the provisions of Section 27 are for purposes of making a referral, and up to now you have not suggested that you do not know what Section 27 provides.
Yes, sir.
So you could not proceed on the basis of this A1 without satisfying yourself, is there enough to proceed at all? And the basis for proceeding would have been the referral. This is sparse, then what was referred in the first place? That you would find out from the Section 27 referral. It's on that basis that I'm asking you, so you closed your mind to that.
So when you put it that way, close your mind, it's let me say, I cannot take it any further, Chair, and I have to stand with what you say.
All right, thank you,
It's-
thank you.
Because we've spoken about it and
Thank you,
it's
thank
over and
you,
over.
thank
So
you, thank you.
that's the best answer I get, and although I'm caught in the middle there,
Yes,
and I have to
yes.
leave it there, caught in the middle, Chair, and I cannot
Yes.
take it any
You
further.
see, you seem to have performed your functions perfunctorily. You just,
No, sir. But let's
yes,
move on.
yes, Ms. Silva.